Hello everyone, welcome to Live Interactive English. I'm Mike.
And I'm Nina.
And today we're going to be doing a one-day but two-dialogue article all about sports. Why do we know it's about sports? Because the title is Sports Fever. This isn't like a COVID-19 fever.
Oh God, I hope not.
You don't need to wear a mask or take
I
medicine
hope not.
or anything like that. But it means you really like sports. So
Yeah.
have you ever had sports fever? Are you a sports nut in any way?
I wouldn't say I'm a nut, but I am a huge fan of soccer.
Ooh,
because I'm from
okay.
England, but
Sure.
actually we call it football.
Yes,
But in
you
America
do.
they call it soccer, right?
Because they're weird.
Do Canadians call it soccer too?
We call it soccer too.
You're weird too.
We're near the weird Americans.
Okay,
but
okay.
I always thought that was strange, right? Because
Yeah.
football, like you and I would think, you use your foot
Exactly.
or your feet, whereas in American football, you occasionally kick the ball.
Yeah, you're usually holding the ball.
But you're
or-
usually holding it, throwing it, carrying with your hands, not with your feet. But as a football supporter, right?
Yes.
Because that's what they call a fan, maybe in Britain. What is your favorite team?
Manchester United.
Manchester
Yes,
United.
Manchester United and a Portuguese team called Benfica.
Benfica, oh,
Yeah.
very famous
yeah,
team.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
grew up just watching them. So my dad was also a huge sports soccer
See,
fan.
you mentioned your
Yeah.
dad is from Portugal.
Yeah, he's from England and Portugal. Yes, so that's
okay.
why the two teams,
So
right?
have you or your father, have you ever met Cristiano Ronaldo?
Oh God, I wish. He's my crush. I love him to bits. He is incredibly good looking and talented too, but that's not important,
And
right?
he has a really long neck.
He
I've
does?
always admired his really long neck. I just wondered if it helps him head the ball a little bit better with that giant neck. So as you can see, I don't know if we have sports fever, but we're definitely sports fans.
Yeah.
How about you guys? We're going to check out our article with Barbara and Adam chatting about some of their favorite sports. Adam is watching TV.
Are you watching the Olympics? Why is the rink so small?
No, I'm watching an NHL game. NHL rinks are smaller than Olympic rinks.
What's going on now?
The Maple Leafs need to score a goal to tie the game, so they're pulling their goalie. An offensive player replaces the goalie, but the Leafs net will be unprotected. Here we go.
Why are they just passing the puck around?
I don't know. Shoot it! Shoot the puck!
Tough loss.
I don't know why I still support a team that hasn't won a championship since 1967.
So as we mentioned, our article today is Sports Fever. We're going to go nuts for sports. We have two dialogues, one before the break, one after. So let's look at our first one. Oh, this is a title I don't know if you're familiar with. You did spend some time in Canada. Our title is Hockey Night in Taiwan.
Hockey Night in Taiwan.
Well, there's a very famous old popular show in Canada called Hockey Night in Canada.
Actually,
Where they
okay.
actually show hockey games. But it's a very famous show. Your grandparents watched it, your parents watched it, people watched it. Anyway, so now it's Hockey Night in Taiwan. Since we're not in Canada, we're in Taiwan, right? Adam, it says, is watching TV. So that's what's happening as our dialogue begins.
All right.
And
so,
then we can see that Barbara enters.
yes, and Barbara says, sorry,
Who's Barbara?
Barbara, I have no idea.
We'll find out, I guess.
Yeah, so Barbara asks, are you watching the Olympics?
Oh, okay.
Why is the rink so small?
Two good questions from Barbara. I guess she's Adam's roommate or friend or something. So she sees that he's watching something on television. Actually, it is time for the Winter Olympics right around now.
Okay.
Yep. And so she asks this actually quite a good question. She's got a sharp eye, that Barbara. She notices the rink on the TV or in the game is so small. Now, first we should explain a rink is basically like a field, but it's got ice on it. It's where you do hockey, where you do figure skating, any kind of ice sports. We'll do them on a rink. So we don't call that a field or a court like in basketball. We call that a rink. And she noticed the rink is very small. And that's actually a good point we'll get to. So Adam, he answers her questions. No, he says, I'm watching an NHL game. She was asking if this was the Olympics, and he's saying, no, it's not the Olympics, it's the NHL. Now, for those who don't know, the NHL is like the NBA for basketball, the MLB for baseball. It's the Professional Hockey League in North America. And as to why the rink is so small, well, Adam explains to Barbara, NHL rinks are smaller than Olympic rinks.
Interesting.
They
I
are
didn't know
actually.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. How much smaller are they?
A little bit.
Just by a little bit?
I think it's like
Okay.
actually a few meters on either end or something.
Okay, I
So,
see.
I'm not sure, but in basketball, I think there is also a difference between
Okay.
the NBA basketball and Olympic basketball.
Yeah, that makes sense. The Olympics has to be bigger, right?
It has to be probably a little
right.
bit different, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, so Barbara asks, what's going on now?
Ah.
'Cause she's confused, you know. She doesn't really watch sports that much,
Sure.
so that would probably be me if I were watching hockey.
Yeah, or
so.
she just walked in the middle of the game,
Yeah.
so she's kind of like, what's going on, who's winning, who's losing, how much time is left, explain to me what's going on or what's
Yeah.
happening. And so Adam does. He says the Maple Leafs need to score a goal to tie the game, so they're pulling their goalie. Wow, lots of good hockey language here. The Maple Leafs, that's a professional hockey team from Toronto. Now, I know. If it's one leaf, it should be two leaves, right? But yes, because it's the name of a hockey team, we don't actually call them the Maple Leaves. They're the Maple Leafs. So you'll have to kind of, get over or forgive that small English problem.
Yeah.
But he explained that they're behind by one goal, so they're pulling their goalie. Now that actually is a term that we use in hockey. And what does it mean? It says an offensive player replaces the goalie, but the Leafs net will be unprotected. It's very exciting, and that's why Adam, as he finishes explaining, says, here we go, because this is going to be a big dramatic or exciting moment of the game. After your team pulls the goalie, they're probably losing the game, but they hope to have one more offensive player on the ice or on the rink to score a goal. And offensive, we use this adjective when we're talking about attacking in some kind of way. In basketball, one team will have the ball and they will be trying to score points. They are the offensive team. As soon as they lose the ball and the other team has it and they're running the other way, then that team now is the offensive team. So the team that is controlling the ball or getting a chance to score, that is the offensive team. The opposite, the ones trying to stop them, would be the defensive team. So those are two simple words you can use when talking about sports. And here we have a simple example sentence for you. During practice, our coach explained her new offensive strategy. It wasn't a great strategy. It was score more points than the other guys.
Yes, very simple.
That was
Just
it.
keep to it, right?
I can understand that one.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the other word is replace. So replace means when you switch something to another, right?
Yeah,
Simple
basically.
as that. So for example, I replaced the old television with a new one.
Okay.
Because the old television was broken or it didn't work properly, so you wanted a new one to replace it, right?
Yeah, basically. And in the game, they were replacing one kind of player for another. Take one player off, put another player on.
Usually they do that because the players get tired, right?
They do that
They get
because they get tired or
Yes.
because they have a different job to do in the
Yes.
game or something
Okay.
like that. And then Barbara has another question for Adam.
Yeah, so Barbara asks, why are they just passing the puck around?
That's a good question. I guess she feels that they're kind of wasting time by
Yeah.
just passing the puck around. Again, a puck is that small black thing that slides on the ice. You don't use a ball when you play hockey. you use a puck, but basically it's kind of like the ball. You pass it around and you try to put it in the net, just like in football, just like in soccer. And so Adam's saying, I don't know why they're passing the puck around. He feels that they're wasting time. They need to score. So he's yelling at the TV, probably, shoot it, shoot the puck. But it looks like time ran out for the Maple Leafs. They won't win this game. It says the buzzer sounds. That's like the bell or the horn that signals it's the end of that part of the game or the end of the game. It's a big loud noise. Adam puts his head in his hands. He's like, oh no, my team lost.
Oh no. And Barbara says, tough loss.
Too bad.
What a shame,
Basically,
right?
yeah, she's saying too bad, what a shame. And Adam, he's feeling like many sports fans do when their heart's been broken again by their favorite team. He says, I don't know why I still support a team that hasn't won a championship since 1967.
Wow. I guess when you support a team, you just stick to it, right?
Well, if you're a real fan, you will. But I have to say, real fans of Toronto, they've been in, they've had a long test of patience to support their team. Since 1967 was the last time they won a championship. What's the championship? Basically, it's when the best team gets picked, or the best team wins the most games, beats all the other teams, gets more points.
Yeah, so basically a competition to see who is the best, right?
Yeah, exactly. That would be the championship.
So an example sentence would be, many people expect the team to win the championship this year. Hopefully for the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Not this year. Maybe next year, but probably not this year.
Fingers crossed.
You never know. All right, guys, we're going to take a break. Then we're going to come back with more interesting sports, this time from the Olympics.
Bye.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。今天的对话是关于 Sports Fever 运动狂热。在第一段对话里面 ，Adam 正在看电视，他在看国家冰球联盟比赛。那目前的赛况就是枫叶队需要进球才能追平比赛，所以他们正要把这个守门员调走，一名进攻球员取代守门员。但这意味着说，枫叶队的球门可能没有设防。看到球员们现在把这个冰球传来传去，都还没有射门 ，Adam 超激动了。然后最后铃响，比赛结束，枫叶队输了 ，Adam 很失望，他不知道自己为什么还在支持一支从1967年以来到现在都没有赢过冠军赛的球队。好，我们来看单字。Offensive 是形容冒犯的，不过如果我们用来形容体育球队中的进攻的、攻方的，通常会念作 offensive。那我们来看它的相反词 defensive 可以形容是防御的、防护的。那如果用来形容体育球队中的这个防守的，则通常会念作 defensive。好，再看下一个单字 replace 这个动词，它表示取代、代替。我们可以用 replace A with B 来表达用 B 取代 A。再来 championship 表示冠军头衔或者是冠军赛、锦标赛的意思。那接回到课文中。
The broadcast schedule for the Winter Olympics is displayed on Jim and Donna's TV.
The men's bobsled starts in 10 minutes, and the women's biathlon is on after that.
I don't know what those are.
To be honest, neither do I. What is a bobsled? Oh, it's like a little car on skates that shoots down an ice track.
Did a guy named Bob invent it?
No. It's called a bobsled because originally people bobbed back and forth to control the sled.
Biathlon is a winter sport that combines cross-country skiing and rifle shooting.
That sounds like something from a James Bond film. I'm definitely going to watch that.
Alright guys, welcome back, and now we're going to be talking about Olympic events. Yeah, Olympic events. Have you ever seen an Olympic? The Olympics?
I love
Live?
the Olympics. No, I've never actually gotten to go to the Olympics.
Really?
No.
It's such a shame. I've never either, but I've always wanted to.
Yeah, it just seems like one of those things you gotta go a long way. I mean, so crowded and expensive, but you know,
It's about the vibe, right? It's
Yeah.
about the atmosphere.
Absolutely. I do kind of hope that someday in some future I will be able to see them. So what are we reading about today?
Today we're reading about the broadcast schedule for the Winter Olympics is displayed on Jim and Donna's TV.
Okay, so we have a couple more sports
Yes.
fans. They're watching their favorite sports on television. This time, though, as you mentioned, it's the Olympics. And since it's February, we're, of course, talking about the Winter Olympics, which this year, as most of you, I'm sure, know, are going to be in Beijing. So Jim begins the dialogue, and he's probably reading something on the TV schedule, or maybe they made an announcement, and he says the men's bobsled starts in 10 minutes, and women's biathlon is on after that. Okay, yeah, so these are the sports that they're looking forward to watching on TV today.
Yeah. So the schedule, right? So Donna says, I don't know what those are. What are those?
Well, that's a good question. That's probably true, especially in Taiwan, that people aren't as familiar with
Yes.
the Winter Olympic sports. We don't see them on TV
Yeah.
often, and Taiwan is not really a winter sport kind of place because it's quite warm here. So,
Yes.
yeah, they got to kind of figure out what are these sports? What will we see if we watch? And Jim, well, he tells the truth. He says, to be honest, neither do I, right? When you use that phrase, to be honest, it might be something you're a little shy or embarrassed
Yeah.
about. Like, actually, I don't either. You might think I'm an expert because I want to
But-
watch them, but I don't really know
No one knows.
what they are. So like everyone, he
Yeah.
reaches for his phone. He's probably going to Google some of these names and see what he can find because we read typing on his phone. And he's probably writing this question in. What is a bobsled? And then, you know, search. And so he finds out what it is very quickly, of course. He says, oh, it's like a little car on skates that shoots down an ice track. Yeah, I guess so.
Interesting.
I guess that is kind of what it's like. A little car on skates that shoots down an ice track very fast down an ice track.
Interesting. So Donna asks, did a guy named Bob invent it? Why is it called bobsled, right?
Bobsled. So
Yeah.
she's, oh, okay. All right. It's
Interesting
not a,
name.
It's not a Dave sled or a
Yeah.
Tom sled. It's a bobsled. So maybe Bob, some man named Bob invented it, but no, that's not exactly the reason. I guess, again, looking at Google to get this information, Jim says nope, which is just, of course, a casual way of saying no, that's not why. It's called a bobsled because originally people bobbed back and forth to control the sled.
I see.
Oh, interesting. That's why.
And she says, cool. Also reading from her phone, so she's learning more about it, right?
Okay, or she's looking up the next sport that they're planning to watch.
And also a biathlon, right? So she's reading about what it is.
Yeah, what is that sport?
Biathlon is a winter sport that combines cross-country skiing and rifle shooting. Another interesting thing, right?
It is a very interesting thing. It's a very strange
Yeah.
and unusual sport, but also a sport that I think a lot of people, when they find out what it is, get quite interested
Yeah.
in. And here's maybe one reason why. Jim says, that sounds like something from a James Bond film. Good point, Jim. There's probably 5 James Bond films where people on skis are shooting at other people as they slide down the snow. So it is kind of like that. But anyways, he says, I'm definitely going to watch that. People on skis shooting stuff? Definitely something I want to see. And when we use the adverb definitely, we basically mean for sure, without a doubt, 100%. That is something that you are going to do, and you don't even have to ask me if I'm going to do it. I'm definitely going to do it 100%. For example, the singer's new album is definitely better than her last one. There's no question. It's very clear. Everyone will agree. This is definitely a fact. All right, guys. Well, that's about all the time we have for today. I'm excited to go home and watch some weird Winter Olympic sports on television.
Yeah, me too. I'm very intrigued.
It's kind of fun. You never know what you're going to discover, right?
Yeah.
From one Olympics to another. Maybe some biathlon, maybe some ice hockey. What about you guys? Are you going to be watching? We hope you are, and we also hope you'll be watching us very soon with more great articles. Until then, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.
好，第二段对话是关于奥运。老师们聊到一生啊，应该至少去现场看一次奥运，去感受现场那种气氛。Nina 老师这时候用到 vibe，V-I-B-E，vibe 表示气氛、情境的意思。好，那对话里面的 Jim 和 Donna 也在看电视哦。电视上正在播放冬季奥运的转播时间表。男子的有跺雪橇比赛在10分钟就要开始了，那么女子的冬季2项紧接在后。Donna 听到他不知道那些赛事是什么，然后 Jim 也不知道，于是他们就在用手机搜寻，然后发现这个 bobsled 有跺雪橇比赛，就像是穿着滑冰鞋的这个小车在冰道上面呢飞驰而下。那么 biathlon 冬季2项，它则是结合了越野滑雪还有步枪射击，结合这2种的冬季运动。James 说：“哇，这听起来很像那个 James Bond 詹姆斯庞德电影里面会有的东西，所以他一定要看。”我们来看单字 definitely，definitely 它表示肯定地或是当然、确定地，它是副词。那这边一个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看这个重点是 neither 可以用来附和前面的否定陈述，表达也不怎么样怎么样。那么 neither 也有人念作 neither。我们来看它的用法，就是 neither 加上助动词或 be 动词，再加主词。那特别注意，在这个用法当中，我们必须将助动词或 be 动词移到主词前面来形成倒装。我们来造2个例句 ：Eddie has never been to Europe, and neither has Lily。Eddie 不曾去过欧洲 ，Lily 也不曾去过。那这边我们是用 neither 加助动词加主词的结构。Sharon isn't going to the party, and neither are we. Sharon 不会去参加派对，我们也不会。那这边是用 neither 加 be 动词加主词的结构。那顺便再补充肯定复合的用法哦。So 可以用来复合前面的肯定陈述，表达什么什么也是。那用法是 so 加上助动词或 be 动词加主词。那同样来看2个例句 ：Tina had bread and coffee for breakfast, and so did I.Tina 早餐吃面包配咖啡，我也是。这边是用 so 加助动词加主词的结构。Reading is relaxing, and so is listening to music. 阅读是很令人放松的，听音乐也是。那这边是用 so 加 be 动词加主词的句型哦。好，那么以上是这个讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
Adam is watching TV.
Are you watching the Olympics? Why is the rink so small?
No, I'm watching an NHL game. NHL rinks are smaller than Olympic rinks.
What's going on now?
The Maple Leafs need to score a goal to tie the game, so they're pulling their goalie. An offensive player replaces the goalie, but the Leafs net will be unprotected. Here we go.
Why are they just passing the puck around?
I don't know. Shoot it! Shoot the puck!
Tough loss.
I don't know why I still support a team that hasn't won a championship since 1967.
The broadcast schedule for the Winter Olympics is displayed on Jim and Donna's TV.
The men's bobsled starts in 10 minutes, and the women's biathlon is on after that.
I don't know what those are.
To be honest, neither do I. What is a bobsled? Oh, it's like a little car on skates that shoots down an ice track.
Did a guy named Bob invent it?
Nope. It's called a bobsled because originally people bobbed back and forth to control the sled.
Cool. Biathlon is a winter sport that combines cross-country skiing and rifle shooting.
That sounds like something from a James Bond film. I'm definitely going to watch that.
Hualien's County Road 193 is often called Taiwan's most beautiful road for many reasons. The road straddles the coastal mountain range to the east and the East Rift Valley to the west. It provides idyllic views of both the mountains and the valley. Cyclists can ride over the foothills and past golden rice fields. Many Aboriginal villages can be found along the route. Due to its narrow width, not many cars travel along the road. It is an ideal route for people biking in the East Rift Valley. For a serene cycling experience, be sure to visit County Road 193.
See you next time!